All right, so another thing that people want to think about, hopefully on the front end when they're setting up a restaurant group or even a single location, is do you want to offer management or key people at the kind of corporate level, incentives or equity ownership or options? I'm not going to cover all of these in detail, but what I'll do is talk about some kind of best practices that I've seen emerge, and you can take it from there. But we have lots of other content. The links are in the description below about the kinds of equity incentives that companies can put into place, both for LLCs and otherwise. And I think you want to start there depending on what you take away from this kind of video. But a lot of restaurant groups, especially ones that are multi-location, that are kind of scaling regionally or nationally, get to a point where they want kind of core management and corporate level people, maybe regional managers who oversee multiple restaurants, maybe even at the individual location level. They want to get people incentivized and excited about the company, and so they may give them some kind of equity incentive in the overall venture. They can also do bonuses. I mean, there's a whole lot of ways to incentivize people, but in general, I have noticed a trend where, kind of like in the tech startup world where equity incentives are very common, more and more people in the restaurant world do seem to be wanting to give equity incentives to certain levels of management. Now, with a single kind of location entity, it gets a little bit more complicated. Those are more closely held businesses, and it may be not appropriate that you're kind of doing at the individual location level, and maybe only the founder group or the key people are actual equity holders. You can oftentimes get people just as invested in the success of the business by doing a bonus as you can equity incentives. And in some cases, it's actually way more concrete and impactful to the employee's life rather than something kind of far off. So like anything, you want to take into a lot of factors and considerations before you make a decision. But we are noticing, a fair amount of our clients want to do, especially in multi-location businesses, a kind of equity incentive plan of some kind for folks. I would say it's rare to the point of almost non-existent that the groups that we work with have an incentive, employee or equity incentive structure at the lower level. So in other words, it's rare that staff have equity incentives in the overall venture. There are a lot of reasons for that. I think anybody watching this video who's serious about the industry knows that there's a fair amount of turnover with staff in the restaurant industry, and so it's hard to kind of administer equity incentive or bonus plans when people are coming or going. I think another reason is because for the most part, a lot of staff just aren't going to be motivated by this long-term kind of hypothetical thing in the future. They're more focused on things like tips and ways to approach things and stuff like that. So you want to keep in mind the different factors that's motivating the employee base and which group of people that you're trying to motivate with this kind of thing before you put it into place. And you also need to take into account other things like how much ownership you're giving up already to investor groups, etc. And there are other factors, again, that we cover in our other videos. But certainly give some thought to the desired way that you're going to incentivize your employee pool or your owner pool to do what's needed to make the business a success for everyone. Hope you like this content. If you do, like the video, subscribe, leave us comments, get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you, and appreciate your support. Thanks.